Welcome back to the balcony at the main stage at Mr. Small's Theater for another balcony conversation. We have Drowning Clowns here with us on the balcony, and this is the most we've had for one of these conversations, so I'm really excited. So we're going to just run down and everyone introduce yourselves so everybody who's listening knows.
Hi, I'm Liz.
I'm Mike.
I'm Mark.
Troy.
All right, and you guys are all in Drowning Clowns. You're performing here at 7 p.m., and I'm very excited. This is like, well, you two at least, you own this place, so you guys get to come and play at the place where you own, which is really exciting, and you're going to be at 7 o'clock. So what's it like to be involved in the festival and see it grow? Because you guys performed at the festival last year, so you were able to see the festival go from year one and round up into year two. What's some of the things that you've noticed that are different?
Well, yeah, we were like actually the first band on the stage at the Funhouse last year. And the Funhouse was brand new to us. We had just opened it recently, so everything was brand new. We were super impressed just walking around the neighborhood and that day and the next day, just checking out all the bands and all the different places that were hosting music. This year, we're super excited to be able to actually open up the theater itself to be part of the festival. It's something that we wish we could have done last year, and the fact that we're able to do it this year is like super phenomenal.
Yeah, the thing I've seen the different is your guys' attitude towards promoting it, and the organization that you guys have put into it has changed so drastically because you have the time now. You don't have the fire, rebuilding, and getting that stuff, more on the good foot. And I commend you for such a successful event last year, given all that adversity. And this year, it's going to be wonderful to see how everyone enjoys the event and all your hard work come to fruition. It's always a pleasure to watch people push for the local community and see the community come out and support. So we're blessed to be a part of it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the second year has been really nice for us because a lot of the stuff that we had to really iron down in the first year, getting the main stage areas that are outside set up, getting all of the different logistical things, getting a connection with Z-Trip to provide the shuttle service. Those connections were already made. So we were able to build on those this year and really add a lot of new things, such as the Arts Festival, which we're adding to Sedgwick Street, which we're really excited about. Mark, Troy, what were your impressions of last year? What are you looking forward to this year?
I thought it was great last year. I am really excited that, like Liz said, that we're opening up the theater. And it does seem like there's a lot more momentum to it this year, like on social media and stuff. It seems like more and more people are talking about it, sharing it, everything else. Sorry.
That's okay.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It was great last year, and I expect it to be this year too.
Speaking for myself, I think we're probably going to be louder.
Louder this year. Well, that's good. Yeah.
Troy, you're not by yourself on that one. I'm with you. We were pretty loud last year. It was a rocking show. We blew it up for the Funhouse, but we're gonna be loud here.
Definitely gonna be louder.
Well, that's one thing I'm kind of interested to see. So last year, there were so many different venues, including, I believe, here at the Funhouse, that had to turn people away because there were so many people that came. And we're expecting probably a couple more thousand at least this year coming into Millville. So that's going to be the challenge, I think, is just finding somewhere for everyone to go.
Well, we can fit 800 of them in here.
I know, that's great. So,
and like 175 of them in the Funhouse.
Yeah.
And the War Room. We haven't talked about the War Room.
Yeah, the War Room. We're opening that up this year. And you guys, that's a new addition to the venue here at Smalls, another facet to the building, another opportunity for bands to perform in and for people to hang out. Can you tell me a little bit about that War Room?
Yeah, the War Room is located directly below the theater, and it's kind of like this secret bunker that nobody knows about. But we're opening it as a coffee house food place, so it's going to be called the War Room Cafe, and it's going to be open every day, and there's going to be music. Here, you talk more about it.
Okay, I got to talk more about it. No, I think that the big thing for us is as the Funhouse has taken off, which is a great thing.
Yeah.
And as we're starting to do more regional and national in there, I feel like the local scene has been neglected, especially, my set of it where I really enjoy the singer-songwriter set and the acoustic cafe set. And, those are my people. And I feel like those people, because of what's going on and the success of the War Room, they need... Yeah, the Funhouse. Excuse me. They needed the location to have a place for them to go to, another place for them, another listening room that could be specific to them that would not force them out.
I know how you guys are. You're like me. You just run around nonstop. Every time I pick up the phone, you guys are one of you two. I know, and I'm sure you guys are the same way down at the end in one part of the country, here, there. So I know how crazy your schedule is. Today, I know myself after this interview, I got to run to a meeting for 10 minutes and then fly out to Green Tree to be on another radio station and then back to work. So I understand.
Success is a welcome thing, but it does have a cost. And, time isn't an irreplaceable commodity. You can't earn more time.
No, you can't.
So
I wish.
You have to watch that.
Yeah, and just go without sleep, and then it all works.
I agree. Yeah. I used to do that.
Yeah, that's what I do now. I slept, I think, like 3 hours before I woke up to come here because another paper was calling about the festival earlier today, so it's been a busy day. So all of you are in many different projects musically as well. So tell me what's special about Drowning Clowns and why it's important to you. I know it's been referred to as a super group in the Post-Gazette. So
a little hype, but we'll take it. We'll take it. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone. Troy's super. Mark is super. Liz is super.
You're super.
I'm mediocre at best.
You're more super.
You're better super. All right, let's start with Troy. Troy is the big thinker of the group.
Well, it's just different, quirky rock.
Quirky space rock.
Yeah, and challenging sometimes. Mike knows what I'm talking about.
I know what he's talking about.
Well, I imagine just trying to get everyone together with everyone's schedule for practice has got to be something that's difficult.
No, you'd be surprised. We're pretty dedicated to our Thursdays. I mean, we went through a cycle where we recorded a whole record, and we were ready to release the record a year ago, and one of our primary members had to leave the band because his child was sick. And as a band, we had to make a decision: were we going to release that project, that album, and work that project, or were we going to just shelve it? So we decided to shelve it. We had it in mixing; it was ready to be mixed. So a whole record, and we sort of only took 2 songs from that record that are on the new record, and we're working on a double album right now. So we as a band sat together and re-identified what was important to us as a group of musicians, and what's special for me is the collaboration. We're not really bringing singer-songwriter songs into the band and saying, this is my song, or Liz coming and go, I got this song, and play along with it and learn my song. We're sitting there and doing the hard work as a band and having uncomfortable conversations about how to arrange it, how to work it. Sometimes it's magical, sometimes it's difficult. And I think that's what I love is the sense of collaboration and growth as musicians, because as an older musician, I don't really care about my ego involved in it at this particular point. That's not why I do it. I did it that way when I was a kid because I didn't know better. But right now, I really enjoy sharing the experience with my friends and coming up with unique, as he said, unique, quirky, interesting, complex music that is appealing to us as players. And we're going to see how you guys like it.
I think that's so vital for any successful group. With the music festival, I know it's different than performing as an artist, but even with that festival, you have so many different people from so many different backgrounds. And when we started the event, we could have created a hierarchy, and there is, somewhat, there has to be somebody who can make a final decision, but we basically leave people, the experts, to their jobs, and everybody brings different ideas to the table. And we had talked about the name of the festival when we first started. We sat around for months coming up with Millville Music Festival. And that was the first thing we threw out there because it just made sense with Deutschtown Music Festival and other music festivals. And we went through a round of different ideas, from music crawl to music fair to a million different things. And we fought for months until we finally all agreed on festival, where we started. So
it does normally work that way.
Yeah.
I mean, you second guess because you want to make sure you're making the right decision. But I think, when you're tight with your group, and the people around you, everyone's sort of on the same page.
Sure, yeah.
But it's nice to scrutinize. It's nice to make sure you're making the right decision. And likewise, when we create music, there is that. But sometimes you just know. Mm-hmm. And we have those songs too, where we just 10-minuters, oh shit, that just happened.
Yeah.
And that's been great.
That's great.
I think one other thing too, though, is as a band as a whole, we're all very close.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always comfortable working together. It's like a family band kind of. Sorry. But for me, it was really challenging because it was like a totally new style of music.
Okay.
I had to go through some training. But
That would be challenging, but in the same way, that's got to be enriching, right? To be able
absolutely.
to try something different.
Definitely.
Liz?
I would have to second the collaboration is a huge thing for me. It's really like the first band that I've been in where it's like truly 100% collaborative, and we share lead vocals, we take turns on things. All of my input is appreciated and usually welcomed, and so that means a lot to me, and so it's become kind of like this musical haven for me to sort of like relearn how to collaborate with people and how to create something like as a team.
Are there any drawbacks to that style?
The pre-production time just takes a little bit longer than you would think. If you had like a main primary singer who was singer-songwriter that was constructing the music, bringing into players, you could whack out the project a lot quicker. But there's a lot of stuff that got left on the cutting room floor in development of the identity of the song that probably took, if we're practicing once a week and we practice for 3 hours, maybe 3 hours of a whole practice wasted on an idea that never came to fruition. And then that's just 1 week gone. You only have 51 left.
We experience that as well. When you're trying to plan and everybody has a different idea, and you'll spend all of this time trying to make a decision or get to a end resolution. Whereas if there's somebody who's in charge, you could just flat out say this is it, and then you move forward. But you lose, I feel like, a lot of creativity.
Well, I believe Jesse Prentice is a key member of the band and a key member of the songwriting team. Of course, bass and drums are always going to be the fundamentals. So naturally, there's a more authoritative step that they put into the music than any of the melodic instruments, and that's to be given. When I'm a bass player in other bands, it's the same thing. It's not Jesse. It's just the role of bass and drums and how dominant it is over the musical development. And so I believe that they have so much to do with the vibe that is the Clowns now. And that was the big transition is, at the same time when Frank parted, Troy was just sort of moving back into the band, and Troy's contribution, because he was an original member, and I was an asshole and I kicked him out, and then I regretted it dearly, and I begged him to come back, and he barely did it, so I can't kick him out again. So. I think at the end of the road, the power of the drums and the bass in the album cycle is super profound on the music, and it's a welcome thing for all of us, because I think it's very groovy. Although it does have edge and it is like spacey and it does have complexity to it, it is really groovy. You can move your ass to it. And Troy's a great drummer and very innovative, and he can kill it.
He moves the asses.
He moves the asses.
We call him the ass mover.
He's the ass mover there. So, that
I'm going to tell that to Mike too, Mike Sasson, when he comes and he introduces you guys. He'll refer to you as the ass mover. So when you come up on the stage. So.
Troy the ass mover.
Yes.
I don't know what that means.
But I'm definitely forwarding this on to Mike. So there you go. So, so how did you guys come together as a band? How did this come to be when you already were in so many different projects? Because
it kind of started like Mike has just been writing these amazing songs like all the time that we've been together, and he's just sort of started recording them and just kind of bringing different people in from the scene to play on different things, and it just after a while it kind of solidified into a really core group of people. Of course, he let me be in the band, because I would have been really sad if he said no.
That and I think you're extremely talented.
Yes.
Aw, thank you.
What really happened for me was when Liz was on the road with Rusted Root all the time, and I was home taking care of Jordan and building Smalls, I spent a lot of time just playing guitar. And I started thinking I should start tracking this stuff and getting into it. So the first wave of the Clowns' growth was based on just me doing stuff in the studio, really a production record, really unobtainable live. And Liz was like, we could do this. And Frank was like, we could do this. So we started trying to get it together and make it happen. So the first incarnation of the band was really just trying to recreate what we did in the studio. We didn't really write anything. We learned how to replay what was written in the studio. And that had some magic to it in itself, because it was over a long period of time and it developed. But, now it's completely different. As I said before, it's a completely more organic experience. So this album is 100% different than the other album. You can feel the same band, but you don't. You can tell that it's a band now instead of just me. So it was really just a desperate ploy at a really tired and frustrated man to play music again and give himself back to his art. And that's how it started. And I'm just fortunate enough that along the way I found really, really great people to play music with and be in a band with, not in my band. It's not Mike Speranzo and the Drowning Clowns, as Jesse likes to call it. But I say Jesse Prentice and the Drowning Clowns.
But it's family. It's like me and it's you and our nephew Evan Smith plays in the band, and he's like young, expansive, brain kid, plays guitar like
been a very cool person
after only a couple of years, and then Mark Strickland, who plays in my solo band, and Jesse and Troy, it's like family. It's like
they played together.
Absolutely.
Jesse and Troy have been playing together for how many years?
Since 1997.
Oh wow!
Oh my God, that's like magic. A bass player drummer combo. That's that
long. Yeah,
it's magic.
Talk about it. They don't even talk about it. They're like,
see, I was not even in high school yet, so there you go.
That's kind of depressing.
That's how old I am.
That's real cool. That's real cool, man.
But they have like this non-verbal, like direct brain link.
Yeah.
And it's a pleasure to be around. It's really fun.
Well, it's an honor to be like sonically supported by that. To have that be the backbone of what we're doing here musically, it's like a fucking honor to like have you guys be that with us.
But the only thing is, I'm tired of saying I'm sorry. I keep on fucking up.
It makes such a difference too when there's that natural gelling of talent. I know even on the radio, when you have an engineer that's working with you, it can make a huge difference. Well, it makes an unbelievable difference in how good the show is. And when you have a really, really talented and engineer that you really click with, the show is just like magic. And they're adding things to the show that you don't even think about, different sound effects and things on the fly, just through their own creative impulses. And it makes a huge difference. So it does make I think in all forms of creative work, whenever you have somebody that really gels like that.
I think you open yourself up to collaborative experience with no fear.
Yeah,
you're gonna have a better experience regardless of what your medium is. And a lot of people feel that collaborative is a scary word because they're gonna lose self in the team. And I really I contest that 100%. I think that's a lot of fear and insecurity. Because if you have a good relationship and you can communicate honestly about what you're trying to achieve, you're going to get to a positive, equal result with all the community, with all the parties involved.
And I think it says something if you have that confidence and ability to stand out and be an individual within a group within a super group, as they say.
That your super.
Yeah, I think that really says something about you as a musician as well, when you can still make an impact surrounded by so many talented people.
Well, the interesting thing for me, this was the first band I ever played guitar in and sang. I never sang prior to this, and I don't really even classify myself as a singer now because it's like it's shoddy at best. But
you're a super singer.
I've heard you guys. You're great.
But I think the neat thing about it for me is the ability to throw off the bass and put on the guitar, and it opened up a whole new understanding of music. And right now I'm playing guitar in 2 bands and bass in 2 bands, so I have an equal experience all the way around. So I'm very excited about being able to play on both instruments. It's just a really exciting growth period for me artistically.
And he is a really great guitar player. He always knocks himself, but I have to remind him that he's a really good guitar player.
I'm a hack.
I feel very fortunate. I feel like I've been able to really work with you guys so much. It's every time I've really put together a big event at this theater, you guys have been involved, whether it was the River's Edge stage last year, this year, when I hosted the Acoustic Cafe, you guys performed down here on the main stage. So
we love the River's Edge. We think you guys are great, and your support of Millville is impeccable, and Millville's a better community because of your involvement in it.
It's a wonderful town.
And I agree. I think there's something really, really intimate and cool about the community that we've created. As Jesse once said, it's about Acoustic Cafe. It's the biggest clique, but the easiest one to get into.
That's true.
I think that's the same thing for the Millville community as it's growing.
Mm-hmm.
It's welcoming new people into it. It's becoming more dynamic because of it, and it's more like home every day for a lot of different people that I never thought would be exodusing to Millville.
Yeah,
I never thought
becoming the place to be,
which is really strange because it's just us. I mean, it's not just.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like we're just a bunch of nerds. You know what I mean? It's like this isn't like cool.
Well, that's what's so special about it. Really, is it is just these regular people that live here, and there's no pretentious attitude that comes with it. It's just people who are
Seattle is like some perceived hip
Yeah.
scene. It's just a bunch of like Tazador. There's a bunch of nerds. There's a bunch of nerd people hanging out, and they're extremely great. But no one's like super cool, like vibe you out. You know, you don't get that at all.
And from my perspective, because I moved here, not that long ago. And
From where, Mark?
From Northwest Indiana.
Okay.
Maurizo.
Home of flip flops.
That's right.
Really, I did not know that.
No, that's a jabbing. But like just in the 5 years or so that I've been coming around here, this Millvale's changed so much. So it's happened pretty fast. From what I can see.
Yeah, I think it started before I moved here, and I just kind of fell in at the right place at the right time, and it was a great place to grow my business. It's just such an open-minded community, and they're so open to new ideas. When I first started this, it was a podcast in a closet in my attic, and the MCDC president at the time, Tina Walker, invited me to a networking meeting. I met my business partners there. Next thing I know, we were in Millvale Studios. It caught on fire, and then thanks to you guys, we're here now.
We love having you.
Oh, we love being here, but I think it really says something about this community that you can have a podcast in a closet in an attic, and they'll take a chance on you to allow you to grow and to become who we are.
I think community needs to invest in good startup ideas all the way around, whether it be artistic, business, whatever it is. I think that's the key element of success, is to not be ignorant about your idea, present your idea, be articulate about your idea, and then hopefully you'll gain the support of your community, and within that you'll elevate your community, and they'll help elevate you.
I agree, and everyone's jealous of us. I'm friends with some of the people who are involved in the inner workings of some of our neighbors, and they all say how jealous they are of Millvale and what we have going on here.
Yeah, as far as versus other community support groups and stuff like that.
Yes.
No, I agree. I think it's always been that way, though. When we started Smalls here, there were a lot of naysayers. It wasn't as easy of climate as it is now. But the core base of the Millvale decision makers were supportive of the idea of trying to transform, and as they said, bridging. The word bridging. Yes, what is it?
It's like their motto. It's like bridging yesterday and today or something. It's like written on the sign.
I think that is. Yeah, I could actually look it up while we're talking. But I think that I agree. It's really. It is a special community because they haven't let go of who they are while embracing all of these new ideas.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't even know the history of it. They don't even know that it was a sawmill town. A lot of people don't understand that. They think it was a steel mill, and it was really the Lippert Saw Building up, at the end of the street there, that was the preeminent saw manufacturing company in the country.
Oh, wow.
And they manufactured some of the biggest tree saw blades for sawmills in the world. And they would ship the steel up the river, and they would get it out at the riverfront and bring it up the street and make all these giant saw blades.
Wow, that's very cool.
So that's why it's Millvale. It's not steel Millvale. It was sawmill.
Yeah,
so
that's interesting.
The Lippert saw was by far the preeminent handsaw of its day. And it's some of those ones you've seen, like the tree cutters and that kind of stuff. I went into the Lippert Saw Building before it was converted, and they had saw blades left over there that were literally 6 foot in diameter. And you could see the roll tracks on the floor when they used to roll the saw blades after they were done milling the blades, and they would roll them across the floor, and the floor was grooved out from rolling the blades across the floor over all the history.
Wow.
It was amazing. So a lot of people don't even know in our community.
Yeah, I did not know that.
That's the history of Millvale. That's why there are so many churches, because they had 3 shifts at the sawmill, and they were working around the clock. So they had so many different type of ethnic groups living in the area. That's why they have so many churches, because the Irish Catholic didn't want to worship with the Italian Catholics, didn't want to worship with the German Catholics and the Protestants, the Methodists. But they were all in this. There was like tons of people. That's why there were so many bars here originally.
Well, that's funny because my pastor always said that you'll always find as many bars as you do churches in a community.
Yeah, well, that's true. Kind of funny, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of true. But when I was trying to get our liquor license, I called the PLCB, and she was like, is it a resort town you guys are in? Because you guys have a lot of liquor licenses. I was like, yeah, it's kind of a resort town.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Well, if we ever get that hotel in up the road, we'll have another spot there, too.
Another great triumph for Millvale.
I know Bar 3's looking at possibly a rooftop bar, which would be nice.
So what is it now? I'm
It's
sorry,
bridging yesterday and today.
See that, and when I saw that when they first came out with that was during the Porter administration, and I just thought that was really an important message.
Yeah,
because you can't really do it without doing that.
I
You
agree.
can't hold on to the past, and you can't ignore the future. So you have to bring it together.
You have to balance them, and I think if you just cling to the past, you're not going to grow as a community. But if you just look to the future, there's something hollow about that.
Agreed.
As well.
Agreed. And I think a lot of people are looking to rewrite history inside smaller communities like this to present a new faceplace. And I really wish they would embrace the history of their culture and their community in a way, and understand that for all the negatives that were around here, whatever, years ago, there was a lot of positives that brought us to where we are right here. And I think that that's an important thing for all of us to realize, especially artists, that we need to grow from the histories and the development of life itself and bring that to our art versus just, I'm going to create something futuristic and it's going to blow the doors off tomorrow. You can't do that without knowing yesterday, I don't think.
Absolutely. So real quick, what is up next? I'll ask all of you for the Drowning Clowns. What's on the horizon after the Millville Music Festival? And we'll wrap up with that.
Birthday party.
Ooh,
Well,
that sounds fun.
yeah. So our next show after the music festival is going to be June 9th, and it's going to be Mr. Speranzo's 50th birthday party.
Happy birthday.
Huge bash here in the theater. We're gonna invite all of our best friends to come and play music and just have a huge party.
It's not really, it is a show and come to the show, but it's really about having a good time with friends and celebrating. This is my 50th birthday party, so I can't.
It's fantastic.
It happens once.
Those are the best parties too. I have been to several, and I will say that the 50th birthday parties are the best birthday parties that you can go to. They're always the most wild and most fun and most exciting.
Yup.
Yep.
Very cool.
Other than that, just working on this new album, and we're gonna see if we can get a single released in time for that show, and we're gonna be probably hoping to release maybe sometime in the fall to
Very
release
cool.
the album. Yeah.
Exciting. So we'll run through. Everybody say one thing. Just say something to the audience, the people who are looking to come to Millville Music Festival. What's a message you have for them? You can each give a message, and then we'll wrap up with that.
I can't be first. You start. Troy start. I'm gonna make Troy start.
Drink responsibly.
Yes, they definitely drink.
Good one.
'Cause that's how we pay the artists.
Good one.
He said that was a public service announcement.
Come check us out. Support all the bands. Try to
All
move yourself
200
around.
of them.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to see everybody, but definitely come and most importantly, come see us.
It'll be fun here.
Hey, you. Where are you? Where are you? You're there. Hey, you. You should come to the Millville Music Festival and rock out because there's going to be 200 great local bands. So enjoy.
We are all local too.
I don't know if I can top that. Come to the festival. Watch bands. Support local music. I mean, I guess, every music scene is started with the locals, and, never underestimate the power and the importance of supporting people from the beginning of their careers, no matter what size of an artist, no matter how much draw they have or who's heard of them or not. It's just important to come support everybody. So this festival is an opportunity to learn about so many musicians that you probably never heard of. So I would say bring a satchel and a bunch of $10 bills and just buy everyone's album, and then
you'll have the best library in Pittsburgh.
And don't forget to tip the bartenders and waitresses.
Yes,
that too. Tip
Absolutely.
the bartenders and waitresses.
And drink responsibly.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much, Liz, Mike, Mark, and Troy. I'm Brian Crawford. This has been a balcony conversation here at the main stage at Mr. Smalls, the River's Edge stage for the Millville Music Festival 2018. Looking forward to seeing you all there.
Bye-bye.